Good morning, everybody. You're tuned to Radio Kidnappers, the voice of Hawke's Bay, and you are listening to a program called Your Time to Shine, all things self-love. I am your host, Celine Harlow. It's spelled C-E-L-I-N-E, not Selena, not Elena, not Celine, but Celine. I had colleagues who called me Celine for months. It made them laugh a bit. But anyway, and so for the past 4 years, I've been training people from all over the world, and especially people here in Hawke's Bay, to help them find self-love, self-care, self-approval, self-value, and especially the courage to live their best lives in just a few short weeks. If that's something that you're interested in, then listen on. So I believe that self-love is a very basic skill and one that people could, practice a little bit more. I also believe that self-love is the foundation of a healthy and fulfilling lifestyle, because without it, to be honest, life becomes a struggle. And I personally believe that we are here to learn 3 main things. We're here to learn ourselves, we're here to practice loving our partner, and we're here to practice loving the divine as well. So that's the main 3 lessons. And if you look at your life, you'll see that a lot of things are actually interconnected and that you are focusing on learning those 3 things. But without self-love, loving your partner and loving God, loving the divine, loving the universe, whatever you want to call it, really is difficult. So I believe that self-love really is the foundation. And so today we're here to talk about self-love. So welcome to Your Time to Shine. I'm so excited that you're joining us. And today we'll explore, life and love and everything in between. And in the studio today is my incredible friend, Reza Petrie. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Celine.
I've seen this coming.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Amazing. I'm so excited. I've been begging you to come to the studio for the past year, and finally you're here. Finally you're here. The day has come. I'm super excited. So you have been on a very intense journey of self-healing and self-development for the past year or so.
Yeah, definitely. Probably more in particular, probably the last 6-7 months in particular.
Amazing. So would you like to tell us more about this? And also, I'm really interested in learning what really made you make the decision, made you make the commitment to healing yourself, healing your life. Yeah, you go.
Yeah. I guess basically I was stuck in a vicious cycle. I was having the same issues, the same problems happen to me over and over again, and it led to, for me, alcoholism. So I'm a recovering alcoholic. I'm not ashamed of that. I'm very grateful to be a recovering alcoholic, actually. And something had to change, obviously. So that's what led me to this journey. Yeah.
Amazing. It was actually very interesting for me to witness you going through that experience and actually realizing how strong you were and how you would just pick yourself back up every day and just keep going. And that was very, very beautiful for me.
Yeah, it wasn't easy, that's for sure. It's been very hard. I've probably never worked so hard at something in my life, like to get back on track. And as hard as it has been, it's paying off. Like it's actually, the more I put into it, the more beautiful the journey becomes. Yeah, and I love it. I love being sober. It's so good. Yeah.
So tell me, why has it been so hard for you? I think that, for people who are about to start this journey of healing or who actually want to make changes in their lives, they want it to be, I guess, glitter and rainbow and unicorns, and I think it's part of the journey, but it's not the only thing about the journey. So why has it been so, I guess, confronting for you?
Well, it's not something like a light switch where you can just turn it on and see those rainbows and be around fairies and stuff instantly. It takes a lot of work. You really have to dive deep into yourself and look at it. A lot of underlying issues, and you have to face them. And for me, obviously, facing them for the first time after 23 years with clarity was very difficult and very hard, but was also beautiful at the same time. I say that now, but looking back, it was very tough, but it was yeah, I don't know where I'm going. Sorry.
So how do you feel about your journey today? Obviously there is more healing to do and more self-development
sure.
to do.
Yeah.
But how do you feel today compared to how you were, I think, 6 months ago?
Yeah, like $1,000,000, to be honest. Like I said before, I've put in a lot of hard work into it, and I can now finally feel the hard work starting to pay off in my day-to-day life. I can be faced with certain situations now and remain somewhat positive now towards them, and deal with them with a lot clearer mind. And being able to do that is just awesome, like compared to where I was, because where I was any excuse to get drunk, really, and now it's any excuse to really look at the situation differently, like, and what am I supposed to learn from that situation as well, is another big thing. A lot of it's come down to recognizing what the problems are and what I'm feeling emotionally, and that's been a big part of it, because once you can recognize that, you can become more aware of them, and once you become more aware of them, they're easy to deal with.
So how did you find it within yourself to actually recognize the problem? I think that for myself, I'm very self-aware in some areas of my life, because I've been doing so much work on myself for a long time. But in other areas, I know that I lie to myself, and I don't necessarily, I consciously and unconsciously do it at the same time. So how do you find the courage to actually look at what you need to change?
Good question.
Do you have any specific tips or exercises that you do, or is it just a matter of actually becoming conscious of your thought patterns or belief systems?
Definitely becoming conscious of my thought patterns and belief systems. A lot of it, for me, is I've really put my faith into something greater than me, and a lot of prayer and meditation, daily prayer is a big thing. A lot of people tend to get put off by the whole God thing and stuff, but it could be anything, something that you feel is greater than yourself. And since I've done that, I've trusted this journey. I put my will into my higher faith, whether it be the universe or anything, and I've just learned to accept that these challenges are part of my journey, and I'm supposed to learn from each little challenge. Yeah.
Would you say that receiving support was a big part of your journey?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I pushed a lot of people away that I truly cared about, and but I soon got to see the ones that did care about me too, and they never left my side, and I'm eternally grateful to those people. I'd be stuffed without the support, that's for sure, but I couldn't do it. I had to do it for myself. That was first and foremost. You could have all the support you can and people going, come on, you can do it, but unless it's coming from within, you're not going to do it. You really have to dig deep and make that decision yourself.
So I'm sure that it's not easy every day. I think, having to face your demons and your angels is just something that is very confronting. So what is your why? What keeps you going? It would be so easy to just, go back to who you were. Somehow it's just comforting, right? It's your comfort zone. So what keeps you going?
I guess one thing I keep telling myself is I know I've been through the bottom, and I sat there for a long time, and it did me no good. There's no point in going back. Like, I know that if I pick up a drink again, no good is going to come from it. I've proved that to myself time and time again. And I just can't stop believing that, that this is worth it. Like, as I touched on earlier, the more I keep going at this, the more beautiful it gets. You know, and I'm not saying every day is a fluffy box of ducks. You know, there's still moments there. You know, but hey, that's normal. You know, and accepting that. You know, like, hey, it's normal to have a bad day. You know, but yeah, I get that.
That answers my question.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a very interesting thing for us all to ponder on. I think we all have habits that we keep in order to, you know, feel safe and in order to avoid having to deal with our stuff. Like for me, I remember that when I was not happy and loving myself, and then when I was in this dark place in my life, I used to eat a lot of sugar, a lot of chocolate. I was known amongst my friends to have this huge stock of chocolate in the fridge. I was living in Australia at the time. And I remember this afternoon when I had a lot of friends over and we were planning to, I think, go to the park and have a barbecue. And my roommate opened the fridge and said, "Hey guys, do you want to see how much chocolate Celine has in the fridge?" And everybody started to laugh. And then I realized that actually wasn't something that was normal, that it wasn't normal to have to rely on chocolate or sugar in order to feel good, in order to feel peaceful and happy at the end of the day, in order to just, you know, relax and unwind. And so now they're saying that sugar is almost as addictive as cocaine. It's insane. And but really, in order for me to let go of my need to have, you know, chocolate and eat an entire block of chocolate at the end of the day, I really had to learn that how to really love myself, how to support myself, how to deal with my emotions and my thoughts, and how to actually know that, yeah, it's okay for me to feel sadness, it's okay for me to feel the anger or the resentment or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's okay for me to feel it all, and I can still love myself through it all.
Yeah.
So I guess my next question to you is, what is self-love to you?
It's a good one. Celine. Self-love. For me, it's a lot of it is gratitude. Like being grateful for you know, for being here, you know, and being able to experience these beautiful things. You know, I've recently started just telling my body, you know, how much I love it and how much I love, you know, for how much, you know, how thankful I am for it to be my vessel, you know, and it feels good to say that. Like, I'd never done it before, you know, and now I'm doing it all the time, you know, and the more I feel this self-love, you know, the better life gets, you know, so why not?
Absolutely. I just love what you said about, you know, loving your body and accepting your body.
Yeah.
I was just talking this morning to a really good friend of mine, and she was just telling me that she's been working through affirmations, you know, learning to value herself and love herself and accept herself. But she wasn't at the stage yet where she could stand in the mirror and truly mean it.
Yeah.
And I think there are many layers of self-love, right? I think a lot of people start with self-love with they start with self-care, like, you know, having a glass of wine at the end of the day or a glass of orange juice, or taking a bath with Epsom salts and a candle and a good book, and then you know, there's the second layer, which is, you know, often, you know, dealing with an emotional a memory, you know, an emotional drama from their childhood or something, and then there's more layers, and I feel like, you know, I've been diving deep into self-love for the past lifetime, but mostly 5 years, but I still don't really know what self-love is, and I still know that there's so much more to explore, because self-love encompasses, you know, self-care and self-acceptance and self-value, I don't know, self-respect. What else didn't I say? You know, learning to deal with your stuff, forgiveness, compassion, gratitude. It is a lifestyle rather than just a quick lesson, right? It's just, you know, you dive deeper and deeper into self-love.
Yeah, I find like a big part of it is just being kind to yourself. You know, like when you're feeling down, talk to yourself how you would when you're giving your friend advice that's down. You know how you say, look, things are going to be okay. You know, this won't last forever. But we never tell ourselves that when we're down, do we? You know? But, you know, so something I started practicing was telling myself those things. You know, how would I talk? You know, if I'm giving someone else advice about the way they're feeling and trying to pick them up, why don't I do that to myself? You know, we never do. You know, and I think that's an important thing. You know, we forget to be kind to ourselves. Yeah.
So, would you like to share maybe 3 exercises or practices or tips that you have that you use on your day-to-day basis in order to be kind to yourself?
Yeah, sure. Probably the biggest thing I do is I was fortunate enough to learn the Sudarshan Kriya with a couple of good friends.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's really good for me. It helps keep me centered, and you know, because half my issues I'm battling in the past or in the future. You know, so the more I can stay out of the present or future, the better for me. So that's what really keeps me centered, and so yeah, I do that as often as I can on a daily basis. Not every day, because sometimes I can be lazy. You know, no one's perfect, but I do try and keep up with that as much as I can. So that's your first one. Secondly, when I pray every morning, I always ask to be filled with unconditional love, you know, and to show compassion to others. And I also hand myself over, my will over to my higher power, you know, and that seems to really get me through a day really well. You know, and I do that every day, and then at night time when I'm praying again, you know, I say thanks. Yeah, and that's when I'll say thanks to my body after eating chocolate. Yeah.
And tip number 3?
Number 3, remember to breathe. That's probably the next thing. The other thing. I guess particularly this one keeps me going through the day. Just focusing on my breath. You know, if something pops up that I wasn't expecting, which happens all the time, it's just taking a moment, and I usually just sit down with my eyes closed and just focus on my breathing, and you know, and it just calms me down and centers me again. Yeah.
Amazing. So just for our listeners, the Sudarshan Kriya is taught by the Art of Living Foundation, and they regularly organize courses in Hawke's Bay. We are very privileged to have teachers come all the way from Auckland to teach us this beautiful, beautiful course. And so the first foundational course is called the Happiness Program. So if you're interested in learning the Sudarshan Kriya, it's a 30 to 40 minute breathing exercise that you do in the morning or in the evening or whenever you can, really. And that really, for me, it's like taking a shower of breath. Yeah. So in the same way that, you know, take a shower in the morning and have your first cup of coffee, it's, you know, about also releasing what is no longer serving you through the power of the breath. So if you've never heard about the breath before and how to use the breath to calm down your emotions, you've probably noticed that, you know, when you watch the sunrise, for example, you know, you have a long inhalation and a long exhalation, and it's this feeling that, oh, all is well with the world and everything is perfect and I am rocking this. And, you know, if you have an argument with your partner, for example, you will see that you'll have a short inhalation and a short exhalation. So if you feel that you cannot control your emotions, then start with your breath. Because, you know, if you just slow down your breath, close your eyes for a moment, not if you're driving right now, but you know what I mean. So just slow down your breath until you feel calm and centered and peaceful again. That's a good way to actually have an impact on your emotions without having to be, I guess, overcome and, you know, ruled by your emotions.
I guess the main thing I'm sort of working on at the moment, I had a bit of an epiphany the other week, is, you know, I'm two people trapped in my body. You know, I've got my rational Reza and I've got my emotional Reza. And I'm trying very hard to have them living together in harmony. And, you know, because, I mean, I can be given presented a situation where I can be real positive about it and you know, just real accepting of it, and then 5 minutes later I can be really emotional about it, and I'll look way too deep into it and take it completely out of perspective.
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, now I've realised this, you know, and I've been working on quite a lot, like how do I get these two to live together, because you need both, you can't live with one out or the other. So that's something I've been working on quite a bit now. And how do you do it? Wow, I don't know. But from being aware of it now, and like being able to recognise, oh, that's that emotional side talking there, or that's great, that's that rational side, I like that side. Just being aware of those two now, like whenever I'm thinking about a situation, is I can start to link them together now. You know, whereas before it would just be you know, there's the emotional side going taken over. You know, I wouldn't even know that it was that side of me thinking like that. But now that I'm aware of it, I can bring it back a bit. You know, and yeah, that's something I've really been working on just recently.
That's amazing. Yeah, I was just going to say, I think we have this tendency to focus on happiness as just feeling good and great and excited and happy and peaceful and abundant all the time. But actually, it's about, you know, finding this harmony within yourself, within your heart, within your mind, knowing that, you know, I think life is a wave, I suppose you could say.
Yeah,
you know, it's
yeah.
about, you know, balancing those high and those lows, knowing that, you know, through it all you can have self-acceptance and you can, you know, find peace and self-love anyway.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Any last words?
Well, thanks, Celine. Yeah. No, it's been a pleasure being on here. You know, I've never done anything like this, so it's quite a cool little experience, and hopefully we could do it again sometime down the track when, you know, we've grown a bit more. You know, it's still early days, and just to anyone out there, you know, just work hard and don't give up. Life is beautiful. It's taken me a long time to see it. You know, I've lost a lot of things, but I've also gained a lot of good things out of it. And just persevere with it, with whatever you're going through, because there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. For me, it's always so lovely to listen to people's stories and to understand how, I don't know, we all work and understand the world in a very different way. And I just find that so beautiful to see that we're all very wise, beautiful, incredible beings, and we're all here to, learn how to love ourselves and love the world around us.
Yeah, it's important. It's very important.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you.
So if you're curious about self-love and you want to know more about self-love, then you can join my free self-love course. It's online, so you simply need to go to my website, mydawninglight.com, and simply sign up through the homepage. So thank you so much for joining Reza and I today. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your energy with me. I really appreciate your presence. And if you have any questions, or if you have any feedback, or if you want to share what you've been going through and how you've been, you know, working through these challenges in your life, then simply go to my website again, mydawninglight.com /contact, and I would love to hear from you. And you can also get in touch with me through Facebook and Instagram. So yeah, really join the self-love conversation, and I'll talk to you same place, same time next time.